Hey guys, it's your Tagal Mary and welcome back to my channel. For today, ang pag-uusapan nating smartphone ngayon ay actually first time nating i-feature. We all heard the brand Asus from our channel, mapa-laptop or kaya naman yung kanilang ROG series, pero not their Zenfone series. Probably because din naman that they rarely release yung kanilang Zenfone series dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. But for their Zenfone 8 series, finally guys, ini-launch nila ito sa atin. Not just the Asus Zenfone 8, but also the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip. Don't worry guys, ang ating Asus Zenfone 8 Flip review will also be coming soon. Na-late lang ng konti yung pagdating, but for now, unahin natin yung paborito kong smartphone. So, nakita nyo naman sa title, ito yung bago kong paboritong phone. Bakit? Actually, malalaman nyo yan sa video natin ngayon. But disclaimer, doesn't mean na favorite ko siya. Wala na siyang pros and cons. So, itatakal pa rin natin yan at the end of the video. But for now, unbox muna natin ang bagong Asus Zenfone 8. When it comes to packaging, alam nyo, very bago sa paningin ko. It's a nice color and ngayon lang din ako nakakita ng ganitong texture ng box sa isang smartphone. Of course, we have here the number 8 na nagre-reflect kapag natatapatan siya ng light. And of course, kaya rin ganyan yung kanyang pinaka-shape ng number 8 kasi nga meron siyang dalawang cameras. And of course, just the name of the phone, yung Asus Zenfone 8 dito sa ilalim. Sa smaller box, may nakalagay lang na Defy Ordinary. Medyo hindi lang obvious sa ating camera. We have here a really nice case. Very flagship din ang datingan ng ating libreng case. At syempre, yung ating panundot. So, we have here the phone. Actually, isa sa mga reason kung bakit gustong-gusto ko tong phone na to ay dahil sa size niya. Gusto ko yung kanyang pinaka-form factor. And alam niyo naman, when it comes to flagship, palakihan talaga ng device. What I have here is the Horizon Silver, also available in black. We got the Asus Power Brick and yes, it's USB Type-C. And of course, may USB Type-C to USB Type-C charging cable rin tayo. So guys, ilagay natin yung case para makita nyo lang kung anong itsura niya when there's a case on it. Ito yung itsura ng ating case, hindi nga lang covered yung ating ilalim, tsaka yung kanyang bandang ibabaw and also the sides. But I like it. Gusto ko yung case niya guys kasi meron siyang texture that makes the device more secured on my hand. Kasi nga guys, alam niyo naman ako, si pasmado. If you guys remember, noong lumabas yung iPhone 12 mini, medyo marami ang natuwa kasi nga, syempre, yung target market ng mga maliliit na smartphones, nabuhay sila ulit kasi 3 to 4 years ago, nag-start na maglabasan ang mga malalaking smartphones. Mas malalaking display, which is why hindi rin ganun kadami yung choices ng mga tao when it comes to small or compact smartphones. When it comes to comparisons, ang Asus Zenfone 8, medyo mas malaki ng konti with the iPhone 12 mini, pero mas maliit naman siya kung i-compare natin sa Samsung Galaxy S21. Ito yung kanilang side-by-side comparison for reference. So yes, it's a very compact phone, pero flagship specs ang meron tayo inside. Before we start with the review, magkano muna ang Asus Zenfone 8? Actually, meron tayong dalawang variants. We have the 8GB, 128GB of internal storage, which retails for 34,995 pesos. And for the higher variant, which is the 16GB of RAM with 256GB of internal storage, retails for 39,995 pesos. And yung variant ng smartphone na meron tayo ay yung pinakamataas, which is the 16GB of RAM. Alam nyo guys, kung tatanungin nyo ako, yung 5,000 pesos difference nila, doon na ako definitely sa 16GB of RAM. Actually, it's double the RAM and double the storage considering pa na hindi naman siya expandable via micro SD card. And 5,000 pesos is not that bad at all. Physical appearance, it is made of Corning Gorilla Glass 3, yung kanyang likod, and very curved, guys. Kinda reminds me of the design of old smartphones that we've seen. So yes, kung ako tatanungin nyo, hindi naman siya masyado or gaanong appealing as we were to compare it sa mga flashy smartphones that we have now. Actually, may pagka-retro look nga siya para sa akin, even the camera setup. There is nothing really special sa kanyang design. So, Mary, how compact is the Asus Zenfone 8? Kung i-compare lang naman natin siya sa mga smartphones na compact din, yung iPhone 12 mini, I can definitely reach the top part of this phone. So, kayang-kaya kong abutin yung pinakaibabaw ng display ng smartphone na to. But with the size of the Asus Zenfone 8, kapag hawak ko siya in one hand, hand, definitely kayang-kaya kong mag-text ng isang kamay, pero hindi ko na kayang abutin yung pinakaibabaw niya. Medyo kailangan ko lang i-adjust ng konti, pero it's on the sweet spot. It's the right size for my hand. And yes, hindi rin po siya kabigatan because it weighs 169 grams only. Meron siyang headphone jack, which is actually good news, and located siya sa pinakaibabaw. It also has the volume rocker and the power button na merong blue accent para madali natin siyang ma-recognize or makita. Of course, below we have the SIM tray, microphone, USB Type-C port, notification LED light, at isang speaker. And yung power button niya is actually customizable. Pwede natin siyang i-double click or i-double press kapag gusto natin i-launch yung ating camera application, or kahit na anong command ang gusto nyo na lumabas sa kanya once you double click it. So yes, for this year 2021, the Asus Zenfone 8 is probably the most compact Android device that you can get in the market right now. And since wala naman siyang mga flipping mechanism just like what we have with the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip, it is IP68 water and dust resistance. So we have nothing to worry about, guys, when it comes to bringing this gadget with us outdoors. Now, para sa kanyang display, meron tayong 5.9 inches of Super AMOLED display na merong 1080p resolution and capable hanggang 120Hz refresh rate. Aside from those specs, gusto ko lang din malaman nyo guys that the display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus. So when it comes to its specifications sa kanyang display, very flagship talaga. Meron din siyang in-display fingerprint sensor, and so far on my usage, mabilis and responsive naman siya most of the time. And because of its 120Hz refresh rate, guys, hindi ako nahihirapan when it comes to my overall experience since it's very smooth, responsive, and relaxing sa mata. Yes, it's 120Hz refresh rate, guys, kung ikukumpara natin sa Asus Zenfone 8 Flip na 90Hz refresh rate lang. Medyo hindi ko lang gets on this part kung bakit siya 120Hz and yung Flip niya is 90Hz lang. Isa rin ito sa pinaka-reason kung bakit gusto ko tong device na to. Ang kanyang picture quality is actually very sharp as well. Although, syempre, as compared to higher flagship devices na merong Quad HD Plus resolution, okay pa rin naman guys yung kanyang display, and actually nakaka-spoil pa rin siya sa mata kahit na 1080p nga lang siya. Hindi na rin ako magre-reklamo probably because saktong-sakto lang talaga lahat ng meron itong smartphone na to. Kumbaga, balanseng-balanse, which is why I can't help but to use this device more. It also supports HDR10+, and yung kanyang brightness ay aabot ng 800 nits peak brightness. Zenfone 8, meron siyang large stereo speaker, isang malaki sa ilalim, at meron din siya sa bandang ibabaw. And actually, isa sa pinakamagandang speaker na narinig ko sa isang smartphone ang meron tayo sa Asus Zenfone 8. And kung gusto nyo ring marinig ito guys, the next clip will show you that. Bago rin sa aking paningin guys na magkaroon siya ng LED light notification sa ilalim, which is actually very rare nga kasi lagi natin nakakita yung ating LED notification light sa ibabaw ng mga smartphones. So kung nakatalikod man yung ating phone sa table or nakaharap man, makikita pa rin natin yung kanyang LED notification light kasi nga nasa ilalim siya. Now, how about yung kanyang operating system? Actually, since first time ko nga magkaroon ng isang Zenfone smartphone, syempre, nakakapanibago yung kanyang Zenfone UI, but it's based naman on Android 11, so medyo na-delayan akong i-navigate siya dahil hindi rin naman nalalayo yung kanyang operating system and overall user experience sa iba pang mga Android flagship smartphones. And yes, sa mga fan dyan ng mga near-stock Android guys, ang experience and yung kanyang UI, which is actually good. Meron tayong app drawer. You can also search for an application kung ayaw nyong mag-browse. And of course, para sa kanyang drop-down notification, we have Bluetooth, sound, scan QR codes, hotspot, system mode dynamic, auto-rotate, flashlight, airplane mode, screenshot, calculator, dark theme, NFC, do not disturb, FM radio, location, audio wizard, nearby share, screen recorder, switch data SIM, and 100 mode. And for the Zenfone UI, if you will be adjusting the volume, iba ang volume ng music, cinema, games, and calls. Smartphones before can actually do this, and I like na binalik nila ito ulit kasi syempre ako din guys, I prefer na iba-iba yung volume depende sa klase ng application yung ginagamit ko. And para ma-customize yung ating smart key, all you have to do is go to the settings, advanced, gestures. Pwede natin siyang iset if you want nang naka-double tap siya tapos Google Assistant, or kaya naman double tap tapos any application that you want to quick access. Meron din siyang Game Genie na isa-swipe mo lang siya to the right kapag kayo ay naglalaro, which is actually the same sa mga Asus ROG phones. Now, speaking of gaming, actually guys, ang Asus Zenfone 8 ay merong latest and the best Qualcomm Snapdragon 888. So, syempre, automatic yan guys. 5G capable ang ating Asus Zenfone 8. And you will be having the best experience as well if you will be getting the higher variant, which is the 16GB of RAM. So, yes guys, it is the best Qualcomm chip up to date. So, expect na rin the best experience sa kahit na anong klase ng game, mapa-Genshin Impact man yan. So far guys, experience ko, I have no complaint at all. So expect nyo na in case that you will be buying this smartphone, you will be getting the best and more than enough power on a smartphone. So it's not just the smallest, but also one of the most capable Android phone to get in the market right now. And syempre, you are probably curious, how about the battery? Syempre, maliit ang phone, mako-compromise ba ang ating battery life? It has 4,000 mAh, which is actually not bad. Although, syempre, don't expect a very spectacular and long-lasting experience dito sa Asus Zenfone 8 because we all know 4,000 mAh with a 120Hz refresh rate and a very capable chipset. Samahan pa natin na magdamag natin ginagamit ang 5G niya. 4,000 mAh will definitely not last you for a day. But yung battery life niya guys, it's not as bad as what I had with the iPhone 12 mini. It also supports 30W fast charging. It was fast enough naman guys to the point na 30 minutes lang nagkaroon na tayo agad ng 50% of battery life. Ngayon, Mary, how about the cameras? Capable din ba yung Asus Zenfone 8 at flagship experience din ba ang ibibigay niyan sa amin? Actually, compared to other smartphones that is being priced at this range, dalawa lang ang kanyang cameras. Meron tayong 64 megapixels na main camera and 12 megapixels of ultra-wide camera. The main camera is capable of OIS or optical image stabilization and yung kanyang ultra-wide camera is capable of autofocus. Honestly, having two cameras is not bad at all. Dalawa lang naman din talaga yung ginagamit ko kadalasan, isang main at isang ultra-wide. And for the front camera, meron naman tayong 12 megapixels. For a very quick camera tour, let's open it up. Meron tayong typical ultra-wide and wide camera. Sa kanan, we can access the 1x and 2x. And sa rightmost, pwede natin i-adjust yung ating beauty mode. Sa pinakaibabaw, we can adjust the HDR mode, change the ratio, meron din tayong flash, and of course, the Google Lens. On the leftmost part, meron tayong video mode. We have an option to turn on or turn off yung kanyang hyper steady. We also have time-lapse, slow motion, portrait mode na kung saan pwede natin i-adjust yung kanyang bokeh. We also have panorama, document, and some more. Meron tayong motion tracking, pro video, pro mode, and night mode. Yung kanyang pinaka-main camera, actually, ang kanyang sensor ay Sony IMX686. And the Asus is also promising 2x lossless zoom. Yung photo quality natin by default takes 16 megapixels. And most of the photos that we have guys are taken outdoor. Actually, very balanced ang ating colors. There is a lot of detail. And okay na okay din naman ang kanyang dynamic range. Nag-offer din ito ng 2x lossless zoom katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina. At para ma-achieve ito, yung camera niya, it will shoot 64 megapixel first, tapos ika-crop niya ito to 16 megapixel center, and then i-enhance niya ito. And yes guys, yung ating mga 2x zoom photos still appeared clear and has a great amount of detail kahit na wala tayong dedicated telephoto lens. Meron din tayong 12 megapixel selfie camera that is also capable of autofocus. Flagship worthy naman yung mga selfie photos natin. And ang kinugusto ko sa Zenfone 8, meron siyang auto night mode. Ito yung klase ng night mode guys na nakikita natin sa mga mga iPhones. May magpa-pop up na crescent moon icon kapag syempre medyo madilim na yung place. And it will usually take for around 4 seconds para makapag-capture. And for the video recording, Asus Zenfone 8 supports 4K at 30 FPS. Lahat ng cameras to, guys. And ang primary camera niya is actually capable of 8K video recording. Meron tayong electronic image stabilization sa lahat ng cameras and kahit na anong frame rates din ang ating gamitin. But the main camera itself, medyo mas may advantage dahil meron siyang optical image stabilization. So, Mary, overall, what can you say about the Asus Zenfone 8 at bakit mo siya paborito? Ganito lang kasi yan, guys. Sobrang rare na kasi na magkaroon tayo ng mga compact size smartphone sa flagship segment. Parang halos iilan lang yung compromise na nakikita ko sa kanya and that is probably the battery. And hindi pa nga masyado kasi 4,000 mAh is not that bad. So yes, when it comes to specs, again, very balanced for a flagship smartphone. Yun nga lang if you're someone who is very into smartphones na may magagandang design, very modern ang look dahil may mga gradient effect, makulay, then you might not appreciate that part much. So yes, yung mga maliliit na smartphone sa tingin ko, meron talaga siyang specific niche. And I think parte ako ng target audience ng Asus Zenfone 8. But eto kasi yun, ang iPhone 12 mini, it's not something that everyone will buy. But the Asus Zenfone 8, kahit na medyo compact yung kanyang size, sub 6-inch yung kanyang display, still, more people will appreciate it as compared again to the iPhone 12 mini. So yes, yung cons ko again, medyo battery, and wala siyang wireless charging. Syempre, kung medyo big deal din sa inyo yon, you might, find it a bit lacking on that part kasi syempre medyo uso ang mga wireless power bank and wireless chargers ngayon. Anyway, that's it, guys. Again, available na ang Asus Zenfone 8 and the 8 Flip sa market ngayon. I'll be putting na lang all the links and details in the description box. Also, shoutout to Isa Dostek dahil sa kanyang shirt. Actually, binili ko to in Lazada and it's available na and I'll be linking it na rin as well. I like my standards the way I like my tech. Hi! Hello! Again, it's your Tagal Mary and see you on my next video. Bye, guys!